Everybody fouls out, and Arkansas falls to the Missouri Tigers by a score of 79-76. This is Arkansas basketball recap. I'm Daniel Price. That's Jacob Price. You know, we were having to do a lot of shows where we lost, and the last show, it was a super easy show to do in the sense that the problem was really obvious. There was lots of things to complain about. That you felt like you deserved to lose. I mean, just like, well, that's what happens. You don't play good team defense, you'll lose the game. That's how it goes. This is tougher. This loss hurts. It's weird because losing to Missouri is not as bad as losing to Vanderbilt, but this feels way worse because you felt like you should have won this game. You have four players foul out. You're in foul trouble the whole game. Um, I don't usually complain about reffing, and I'm not blaming the refs, but I don't like games where the refs are inserted that much. I mean, down the stretch, you need to be careful with your whistle. And there were, I mean, especially the call on Mackay that fouled him out.
Hmm.
I just don't. I mean, that's a big call, man. It's a big call, and I just don't see it. I mean, any pickup game that I'm playing, there's no chance I'm calling that. That I don't see that foul there. Um, I don't know what the rule is with guys with their heels on the circle, but that's information to me. But
That hurt.
if I so if your heels up, okay, I
I
guess.
guess
I
it's
mean,
I guess it's like the out of bounds line.
I guess. That one, maybe I'm just not clear in the rule. The Mackay Mitchell one bugged me. It's not just that he fouled out, which hurt because you're talking about another guy fouling out. But you're putting guys at the line. I just don't know if refs should be. I don't like it when refs do that. Just period. And like any level of basketball, make a guy make a shot. Like I mean, if it's obvious, you got to call up. I mean, I just don't see a foul there. I just don't. And
Yeah, no, I did think that it looked a little weird the
yeah, it
way
looked weird.
the guy went
He
through there.
avoided him and put the shot up. I'm not sure
Hmm.
Mackay ever touched him.
Yeah, there was a couple of those, and like I said, yeah, I didn't think the refing was great,
Well,
but
it wasn't that it was like radically unfair. They were too involved in the game. That's so many fouls. And look,
yeah,
I know like here's why there were so many fouls called. This is part of it. Arkansas decided to come out and be physical, take Muss's challenge, play defense, and they fouled. And they did foul, and there was a lot of fouls, and that's fine. Down the stretch, I don't like seeing that call.
yeah. I mean, the worst thing would be if it was one-sided, and while Arkansas had more guys foul out, I think we also had a little bit tighter rotation, at least in
Mm-hmm.
minutes, like heavy minutes.
Ours came
But
at worst times. That's what it
yeah,
was.
well, and because I noticed at the second half, they called a lot more fouls on them in the first 10 minutes. They got to like the bonus in the first
Mm-hmm.
like 6 minutes or something, and
Yeah.
we only had like four fouls. So it was actually lopsided in the other direction in the first half. And that's partially how we gained that lead, especially because they didn't capitalize on like we were shooting free throws pretty well, and they didn't shoot quite as well until the stretch. And then the stretch they started hitting theirs, and yeah, ours came at worse times, like basically the second half of you know the last 10 minutes.
Here, okay. So I'm gonna make a couple statements. Uh, I want to talk about some good things, and then we can talk about why we lost. Statements are this. I thought that this was really tough to swallow because I felt like the guys played super hard. I felt like they came out and played defense from the jump. I thought the defense was good. They dominated the glass, and you deserve to win a game where you play that hard on defense, where you have four guys fouling out because they're just scrapping, and you dominate the glass, and it feels bad to lose a game like that. Um,
Yeah,
a
it's
couple,
a hard game to critique because they did so many things right,
yeah.
and the reason they lost was there were very small, nuanced, and time constrained. Like there was one little 4 minute stretch is why they lost that game. Um, and but everything else they did exactly what you wanted to do. I mean, I was expecting it to actually, with 5 minutes left in that game, I was expecting to come in here and be like, "That's what I'm talking about."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I
Defense.
mean up to that point, here's what the early critique I have, and I jotted down some notes while I was watching the game, and the only negative one up until like the last 5 minutes was I feel like we're being a little careless with the basketball. We had, and this was from the jump, like we let people just pick our pocket. We threw some passes away. I know Missouri turns teams over a lot; they get a lot of steals, but we were careless with the basketball, and that's that was the only thing I saw. Like was like, hey, we need to, value the possession a little more. But other than that, like everything was looking pretty good, and they came out exactly the way that you want them to. Here's something that I think, even though we lost, I think might consider doing this going forward. Is I actually really like Kamani Johnson in the starting lineup. I thought it really helped.
Mhm.
His energy, that aggression, the rebounding. I think other players feed off it. I like him in the starting lineup, and that's not because I don't like Walsh. I actually maybe really like Walsh coming off the bench because Walsh is so foul prone because he's so aggressive on defense that I think that might work. Maybe you start Mitchell and Johnson. You put Johnson out there, have an enforcer. You're not, don't have, he'll get them playing defense, and you bring Walsh off the bench. Just because we lost this game, I don't know if I was talking to Muss, I'd be like, I don't know. I think that kind of worked. And you saw the way
Mhm.
we started. I think that was good. We came out with great defensive intensity, and so I liked that. The defense was good, like the whole game. We didn't lose because we didn't play good defense. The defense was that's just fine. I thought they got the message, and we played really good defense. And sort of like a minor bright spot is while we are in foul trouble, and I think that I only wrote this down because I think we can get lost in talking about losing a game that you feel bad about and you didn't want to lose. Um, I thought Ford really played some good minutes and gave you some really valuable minutes in the first half when you were in foul trouble and you were trying just like hang around and try to get it to halftime. And I thought he you know really did well. He didn't do anything terrible, but and he contributed. He played defense. He was he scored a little bit and was physical. Um, so good for him. I thought Ford really helped, and that he they threw Pinion out there, and that it didn't work really. But Ford got some good minutes, and I thought that that's a positive too, not just for him but for the team, that you could put him out there, and you know you could hold it down trying to get to halftime. Those are sort of the positive things. Um, I don't have a lot of negatives other than being careless with the ball. I'm interested in what you think about this because I thought it while they were doing it, and I still think it, but maybe you'll tell me I'm wrong because the announcers seem to disagree with me. I don't like the ball in Council's hands at the point guard spot. I don't like it. They did this. They went to this really early, and we were up 10, and they put the ball in Council's hands, and I don't know why. Devo's on the floor, Black's on the floor. Ricky Council's your best scorer. Like I'm not arguing that, but he is a scorer, and I just I haven't seen where him running point and dribbling down and crossing guys up and going behind his back and running the shot clock down and then going to the basket. I just don't see it, man. Devo was playing fine. Black was playing fine. I just don't know why you make that switch. You're up by 10. Why do you decide to put the ball in Council's hands and have him bring it down the floor and then he's going to run the offense? I don't understand it. I don't like. They've done it before. I don't like it. I love Ricky Council. I just don't. I don't think it. So typically, I mean, and this is just a basketball philosophy thing, but for me, I don't want the ball in my best scorer's hands the entire length of this floor. You see this happen all the time in basketball, like where you will intentionally play someone else so you can get your best scorer off the ball.
Mhm.
And I agree. I agree with that philosophy, and that's what I would have liked to see. And we did that the whole game long. I mean, Devo played point guard most of the time. Black played some of the time. I don't know why you switch it. I don't.
I
I don't
I like
know.
Devo. I like Devo bringing it up. I like Black being able to run around a little bit more
Mm-hmm.
and make some hard cuts towards the basket. Um, I kind of agree. I don't think he's as good of a ball handler as Devo is.
Mm.
And
And he's not a pass first guy, and Devo is.
yeah, and I mean, Council, in my opinion, I mean, even though he did make a really good pass, although a smidge too late, as evidenced by the fact that it still got swatted from behind near the end of that game. But yeah, it's not like Council has proven a really high percentage ability to drive and stop on a dime and kick. He generally goes down with the head down and either throws up a crazy shot that bounces somehow off the basket with three guys on him, or he charges somebody.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, and yeah, well, I mean, it's not like he did a terrible job. I mean, I'll have to
That
go back and
I do need to go back and watch it, but I remember when they switched it, I was like, I don't like this, and I saw the lead. I saw the lead dissipate.
well, we had a bunch of empty possessions, dude. We just needed one or two scores to cut the
Also, and also, I
momentum.
don't know. I don't. And look, I think Eric Musselman is one of the best coaches in the country. I'm just I don't know. Devo, okay, I'll get out front. Devo is the player of the game. I don't think it's
Yeah.
close.
Hmm.
Uh, Devo was playing great. I mean, like, I don't know why you do it.
Hmm. I'll have to go back and watch it to see what I think if that contributed to that offense bogging down. But I know that that's definitely where we lost the game because, like you said, I mean, the first 10 minutes was the best defense they played maybe all year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, evidence that I think Missouri scored like 6 points in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, and I
And
mean, and you can't beat a team, 70-6. I mean, like, I understand, but I just don't have a lot of complaints about the defense. I thought
no,
the
I'm saying that
defense was fine.
the defense in the first 10 minutes was off the charts.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was above average to great the other, you know, 30 minutes of the game or 28 and a half minutes of the game.
Yeah, yeah,
But
dude, it wasn't even bad down the stretch. We lost because we didn't score,
yeah, we didn't score, but they
and
did
we
give up.
fouled. They beat us on the free throw line because some fouls, some weren't fouled, whatever you want to say. But
Well,
if
and we
if you're
gave
going
up
to
some
combat that, the way to do it is to not have empty possessions. You can't control what the refs are going to do, and that's why I don't like talk. I don't like blaming refs and stuff. And so, okay, fine, they're going to call those fouls, but you have to convert on the other end to offset that.
yeah, I mean, I'd have to look deeper into the numbers tomorrow and see like I'm not sure what Missouri's shooting percentage was and how many possessions there were and stuff, but to me it looked like we did everything right. We hit enough threes,
Mm-hmm.
enough of those open shots. We attacked the basket. We passed when we needed to. They shared the ball. They rebounded. And then there was minute 4 minutes and 35 seconds or something. And we went through it was not, dude, it was fast. I mean, go back and watch it. It, that lead went from 10 to tied in about a minute and 45 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And it felt longer than that because a lot of it was at the free throw line. But I'm telling you, 5 minutes to go when we were up by 10, and with like 2 minutes and 45 seconds to go, we were tied. And
Well, what happened was is they on their possessions they came down and got fouled. On our possessions, we came down and fouled.
Well, and they hit some three.
Offensively.
They got some and ones,
Mm-hmm.
and they scored a couple of threes, at least two, and they hit. Uh, I think maybe had two and ones in there, even though they didn't connect on at least one of those. But I mean, I don't. I mean, if you like again, if you look at the stats, like we were about to win that game. I can't remember with 5 minutes to go. It was like 65 to 55. And if you keep playing exactly the way that you're playing, you're going to win that game.
I don't know why you change
70
any. I don't know why you change anything, man.
it was gonna play out to be about a 75 to 65 win. And I was gonna come in here and be like, we hit some threes, we played tenacious defense. Look at the points scored. If we hold teams to 65 points a game, we can win every game because we're not that high scoring team, but we can get 70. You know what I mean?
But it is weird because we're
And
like the third highest scoring team in the SEC.
well, that stinks because we're giving that means we're like giving up
Yeah.
what are we the most are we the worst defense in the SEC? Because
No, that's what's weird. That is I don't we're pretty foully. I mean, we put teams at the line a lot. But that's what I mean, if you I mean, you gotta there's a there's a give and take to everything. And if you're saying, hey guys, I need you to compete, I need you to be like locked in on defense, you're not going to be the team with the least fouls in the SEC. That's not going to happen. And I'm totally fine with that. Um, you know, but I don't, dude, Makai Mitchell didn't foul him. Like I don't know. Like I mean, I know it's not like that's the thing that cost you the game, but man, that it just really. I don't like refs inserting themselves like that. That is so a non-call. Make that dude make that shot. Like I don't like
well,
that in any game, at all. Like I don't like it.
I I agree, but I still think that like the mistake that we made was, and this may be again, it's a product of those guys being young, is, and I was actually really like it was really encouraging, and I guess you'd say I was proud of those guys because we played a pretty good half, and then we got up by like I don't know 4 or 5 points, and at some point with like 12 minutes to go or something, they had come back and I think taken a lead
Dude,
by two.
I can tell you why we lost the game because we
But I'm
shot
not done with
40.
my but I'm not done with what I was saying.
But dude, I'm
There's
telling you,
like
41% from three, and you get 42 rebounds. We dominated them in the glass. We lost the game because we turned the ball over 21 times. That didn't all happen at the end, but like you're not in a position for them to even be in the game. You can't turn the ball over. That's just too many turnovers, and that's what I mean by being careless with the ball. That was actually from the jump. The defense was great, and a lot of other things were great. It's just that's and they were bad turn. A lot of them were bad turnovers.
yeah, definitely turnovers are a problem, but I'm still saying like that stretch when they took the lead, we didn't turn the ball over that much, with the exception of, I mean, these are turnovers, but we had a couple of offensive fouls.
Mm,
But
yeah,
those are a little bit different. Like those are preventable turnovers, you know what I
yep,
mean?
yep.
And but it really was that we stopped doing everything well for about 2 minutes.
Yeah.
We and that's like even though we out rebounded them in that stretch, we didn't rebound well. We gave them like three chances at a three on one possession. They got rebounded off a missed free throw. Like we stopped doing what we were doing. And I mean, I'm not even saying we stopped. Like maybe we got unlucky, but our defense, they scored on every possession in that 2 minutes, or even if it was a foul, even though, but they weren't all fouls. They scored some layups too. And, um, and we failed to do anything on offense. Our offense
Hmm.
went completely flat, and it was literally just that 2 minute period. And it did feel like a little bit they choked in that period. You
Well,
know what I mean? Like
it felt like they got up by 10 and they were just like, hold on, guys. Just all you gotta do is hold it now. And
yeah,
that's too much time to do that.
it did
You
feel like
can't
they were
hold it
trying
for
to
that long.
spin. We were trying to spin out the clock.
Yeah,
Um,
and then we put the ball in Council's hands, and like again, I love Ricky Council. Like I just I don't I don't think it's good for him. I just don't know why you do it. Like
well, and
I didn't from the moment it started happening, I was like, man, I don't like it when this happens. Like there's two other guys that I would rather have the ball coming down the court.
well, and they And once it got,
By the way, did Anthony Black was like, I'm gonna try to win this game by myself? Like my guy like goes coast to coast, hits that floater, grabs it, goes down, jacks the three. I'm like, dude, if you make this if you made this half court shot, I don't even know what I think about you.
yeah, it would have helped if Missouri had missed a free throw in the last 3 minutes, but um, no, it did feel like because it did feel like they were like once we got up by 10 and it got under 5 minutes, it felt like we were resting on our laurels a little bit, and Missouri took it to us. Their crowd got into it. They got energized. We got a little bit choky. And then once they tied it, then we went to a different, it was like, oh, well, now we're desperate and we're behind the eight ball. And we like snapped out of it
Mm-hmm.
and started playing the way we had been all game again. But I'm telling you, go back and watch that minute from minute like 450 to 230 or something. They just that we let go of the rope during that little period. And it's things like that that take you from like, again, the defense was great all game. I mean, fits and spurts, there was moments of, but we still gave up too many points
Yeah.
for a team that is gonna try to win in a grind out low scoring game. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It's like,
yeah. I guess for the if there's anyone that didn't watch the game, you have to understand that Jordan Walsh fouled out with like 7 minutes left in the game.
and that was bad timing too because he had just started to like he was made two great play.
Jordan he played really well, and he didn't play that much, but he played. He had 12 points. He played really well.
But
Um,
you can tell that he was feeling it. Like after hitting that
yeah.
three, he immediately went back and drove to the basket and made that score in between three guys. And you could tell he was feeling
Well,
himself on offense a little
he
bit.
hit a three, got a steal, got a drive to the basket, fouled out. Like that's like all in like 30 seconds.
And
So
so that's what I was going to say is like the bummer about losing that 10-point lead is we put ourselves in a, if we had just even maintained like just score enough to make it where they can't get within 6, 5, you keep that distance. Things like the ref calling that foul on Mekhi Mitchell don't come into play as
mm,
much. We put ourselves in the position to, instead of just win the game, you played better, just take the victory. Instead, you put yourself in the position where now it's up to the basketball gods and you're doing, I mean, this is how like a lot of these Arkansas games have been on pivotal moments. Like I remember last year with LSU, it went the other direction. It was like you put yourself in the position where now it comes down to a bounce here, a
yeah,
fingertip touching a ball as it goes out of bounds there, about a missed free throw. Like you put it
a
into
bad
the,
call. Is your foot on the is your foot on the half circle or not?
yeah, you left it.
You don't want those things to matter that much.
No, you put it where now it's a roll of the dice. I mean,
Mm.
we're down to under 2 minutes, and it's just going to be a matter of do a couple of things go your way or their way, and they went their way. They hit a couple of tough threes that hurt us. They made all their free throws. We had a couple of funky calls. Like it just
Yeah,
it
yeah. So what I was
slipped.
gonna say is, if someone didn't watch the game, the lineup on the floor at the end of the game was Anthony Black, Ricky Council, and then Jalen Graham, Darian Ford, and Joseph Pinion. And if that's your lineup, and you're down, you know, you're down four, and there's a minute left, and that's your lineup, you know something. I mean, nothing against those guys, but those. I mean, if you just watch the season, I mean, those guys might be all that. Maybe that's the lineup you need, but that ain't a lineup that we've ever had out there. That lineup has never been on the floor together this entire season, and that's because Jordan Walsh fouled out. Devo Davis fouled out. Mekhi Mitchell fouled out. Kamani Johnson fouled out. Like that is wild, dude.
Yeah. Uh, Yeah, that's a bummer, man. I mean, did you hear him say like this is the worst conference start since 1991?
Uh,
That's bad, dude. That means that's worse than John Pelfrey ever
yeah,
did.
yeah, dude. It's. I mean, I know our schedule is like a little front loaded, and we get like a little like softer stretch, and man, we need it because
We need
dude,
every game for the rest of the year, dude.
dude, dude, you gotta beat Vanderbilt. I know that game ended up like not being crazy close, but like that's a game you should win that game. We should have won this game. You gotta win a game when you're up 10. Like with what we were up 10 with 5 minutes left. You gotta win that game, dude.
Dude, I'm telling you, this is the, I hope, I mean, and I still think, I think you've got a hope now because I'm telling you, this isn't that much different than our other seasons. And I know we've said this, but like the difference this season is we're we're just not having a few things go our way.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like if you win there at Vanderbilt, even in a close game, if you somehow find a way to win the game, if you win this, if one of the two of those things go your way tonight and you win this game, it's a totally different, like you're like, okay, we're back to where we were. And that is what happened last year. Is like, I'm telling you, I remember that LSU game. I mean, it came down to the absolute wire and it came down to like reviewing balls going out of bounds and stuff like that. And we managed to pull that one out and we never looked back after that. You know what I mean? And it's like they're just not going our way this year, and maybe they still will, but I mean, sometimes they just don't go your way. And like, if they don't, the season's totally different. When you are consistently in super close games at the end, it's a coin flip sometimes
Dude,
whether or
I
not you
know.
win all of those or some of those or the
Yeah. Dude, I know that it's been like just a presupposition, an assumption, just something you just taken for granted that Arkansas is going to be, March is going to be whatever it is. And it's just a matter of what seed you're going to be. But y'all starting to freak me out because, I still expect to make the tournament. Don't get me wrong. Like, I still expect that we're going to win enough games. We're going to make the tournament. But like, I'm starting to get nervous.
yes. I'm past starting to get nervous. I
I
mean,
mean, I don't mean like nervous about like, oh, we're not going to be an Elite Eight team. I'm not nervous about that. I don't. I mean, that would be crazy at this point. But we've hit the point now where I'm like, well, guys, like we gotta win some games to make this tournament, man.
well, okay, this is going to be a really crazy and stupid thing to say, but the weird thing about this team is because they are so talented individually at times,
And you're like, there's no
I
way this ain't a tournament team. What are we even talking about?
but the thing is, I look at them and they're so young and they make so many mistakes. And if they can't fix these things and can't find a way to find confidence, there's a version. I mean, I can actually see this team making the Elite Eight. It would not, I will not be shocked if we're all freaking out and they beat some big team and they're in the, because obviously there's always the thing once you get in the dance, it's everybody's got a shot, you know.
Mm,
But this team has more than a shot. This team, I think they can play with the best teams in the country. They're just not playing as well as they're able to right now. And that being said, I think that there's also a real shot this team actually doesn't make the tournament. Like that's how wild the like right now. I mean, obviously they dug themselves such a hole that they need to focus on just getting in the tournament, just winning games and getting enough wins to get in the tournament at any seed. But I'm just telling you, like if they can slip in there, I think they are one of those teams that easily could go on a run.
mm,
They have what you need as far as they have the ingredients, what you need, which and a lot of that is defense wins games in the tournament when there, is no home crowd. And
mm,
we've been to those games. Like some of those games actually aren't that well attended sometimes. Like where they put them in those football arenas and like
yeah,
that, sometimes they're in a place where there's just not a lot of fans from that area. And they're like, it's just not, it doesn't have the same feel. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
And so I think that team actually is built to play in the tournament in some ways, but like I said, they could also, they need to focus on just getting into it at this point because this is a hell of a hole.
yeah. I mean, Ole Miss is coming to town on Saturday. You gotta just forget about everything except for you got to beat Ole Miss. Like you got to treat them like it's Kansas coming into your arena. I mean, you do what you got to do. You have to. I mean, at this point, you have to take
What's
every. And you should take every game seriously. But you know what I'm saying. Like you got to. You. It's time to get up for every game because they all matter now.
what's Old Miss's record, dude? I swear, every
Dude,
time I
I
see the
don't I don't care if they've won two games all year. Like you better go in there like this team is going to beat you if you don't give it if you need to play come out and play every game like you need to play the best you've played all season from this point on.
this is actually bad. Like I haven't been paying that close of attention to the rest of the SEC. I mean, moderate, but like, are we? Is there anybody that has less than one win? Is there somebody team
Oh
that
man.
hasn't won a game in the SEC yet? So I feel like it's
Here
a little bit.
I mean right now, let's see the conference standings Alabama 6-0, Texas A&M 5-0. Man, that hurts. Really hurts. For me to say those words. Auburn 5-1, Tennessee 5-1, Georgia 3-2, Kentucky 3-3, Florida 3-3, Missouri 3-3, Vanderbilt 2-3, Arkansas 1-5, South Carolina 1-4, LSU 1-5. You're welcome for giving you that one win. It's rough.
Should have beat
Uh,
that game. That game should have been a win too, dude. I'm telling you,
Mississippi
there's at least three games that like we easily could have under our belt.
Mississippi State 1-5, Ole Miss 1-5. I mean, so you got like Vanderbilt's 2-3. They have a 9-9 record. Ole Miss, they have a 9-9 record. So you just got beat by a team with the same record. So maybe take that game seriously. Like, no, there's not a team with less. There's not a team with no wins. So
Hmm.
whatever that means. There's a lot.
So
There's several teams with one,
we're at the bottom, dude.
or in a lump at the bottom with a bunch of other people. And you know what? If you don't want to be having Ole Miss ahead of you, you better take care of business on Saturday.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it does suck. Like when you think about that, I'm pretty sure
Dude, I
we're
mean,
better.
you played that LSU game. You're like, oh, I mean, I don't know, like it's SEC game, but then you realize that they play five more games and lose them all. You're like, what are we doing? Like giving them their
Uh,
one win. Come on, man.
well, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, we're not we're not so good that you expect to like. Even if you look back, you're like, okay, yeah, Auburn's better than us right now. Alabama's better than us right now.
And Alabama, the
And
Alabama loss is what I don't even care about that one. Like that, Alabama's better than most people right now. That one's fine. Like, but
right, right. And like I said, I think we could have beat Auburn, but Auburn is still like right now they're playing better than us. Um, but dude, you should beat. We were better than LSU. We're better than Vanderbilt,
mm,
and I think we're better than Missouri.
yep.
I mean, I think Missouri's good. I think it's close with Missouri, and that's what I think that's reflected in the fact that both games were close with
Mm.
point. But
Dude,
even if you split,
we were up 10 with 5 minutes on.
yeah, but they were up third. They were up 18 or whatever. So I think even if you split with Missouri, dude, the difference between you say you lose to Alabama, you lose to Auburn, and you split with Missouri, but you win the games that you need to win, which is LSU and Vanderbilt. You're so much better off at 3-3.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's you can't lose those games.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
Another reason you can't lose on Saturdays is at home. We can't be losing no home games coming down the stretch. And I know we got some tough ones. I mean, because dude, if you look at the schedule, I mean, it's I know it's not February yet, but we got to start being concerned about this. Um, if you're looking at the schedule, so you've got home against Ole Miss, home against LSU. You got to win those two games. Got to. Like, dude, if we drop those two games,
it's over.
dude, yeah, I don't. Yeah,
Dude,
you got to win.
well, if you drop those two games, it's over because you're not good. Like
Yeah,
at some point, I mean, I'm being serious. Like we all know, like everybody can see the potential in their players, especially partially because you want to, so you see the best aspects of them. But at some point, you are what your record is. And right now, our record is still decent, not in
Yeah,
conference. And we
but
just,
dude, we've lost 5 of the last 6. We've lost
right.
four in a
So,
row, 5 of the last 6.
and if you lose two home games to teams that are inferior to you, like you're just not a good team anymore.
Yeah. So Ole Miss gotta win it. LSU gotta win it. They're both at home. And you gotta win both of those because after that you go to Baylor in the Big 12 SEC Challenge.
I was looking a lot more forward to that game a month ago.
Yeah. So you do that. Then you're back at home against Texas A&M. Gotta win it. At South Carolina. You gotta win it because it's South Carolina. I know it's on the
Mhm.
road, but you need to win that game. At Kentucky. I don't know. If you win all those other games, I'll let you drop it against Kentucky at Kentucky. At home against Mississippi State, gotta win it. At Texas A&M, Texas A&M is playing good in the SEC. Maybe you lose that one. You got home against Florida, home against Georgia, gotta win it, gotta win it. At Alabama, probably gonna lose it. Be shocked if you won that game. At Tennessee, probably gonna lose that game. And then you have Kentucky at home. You end the season at Alabama, at Tennessee, Kentucky at home. You better win a bunch of games before that.
Well, you just added it up there. If you just won the games, like if you only gave us, if we lose to all the superior teams right now, how many wins does that leave you with? Is it enough to get in?
Um, I'm sure people are riveted with this right now.
Yeah, now we're
So
just, is the podcast still going? We're
it's
just
still
on a
going.
phone call.
So it's like 12. So we're 12-6. So let's just count it up here. Let's just say
12
what
and
you let's
6.
let's see what you need to do. 12-6. Here's what you got to do. All right, Miss Ole Miss at home, gotta win. That's 13 wins. LSU at home, gotta win. 14. At Baylor,
What's Baylor's record?
Baylor is 13-5. They're ranked 21st in the country.
So they're basically like us. So that's a toss up. Let's say we win it just for
Let's say we
shits and
don't because
giggles.
it's on the road.
Okay.
So you got 14 wins. Say you lose that. Texas A&M at home. I think you have to win. I don't know if you will. Let's say you do. Say you get one of those two. You say you get Baylor or Texas A&M. So you're at 15. At South Carolina, you have to win that game. That's 16. At Kentucky, I'm going to say you don't win. Mississippi State at home, you got to win that. That's 17. At A&M, let's say you lose that, so you split with A&M. Florida at home, you have to win it. That's 18. Georgia at home, that's 19. So you have 19 wins going into at Alabama, at Tennessee, at home against Kentucky.
Dude,
Nine,
that is
19,
not,
19 is uh I mean a lot of teams don't get in with 19 wins.
no, I think you got to get over 20 to get in most of the
I
time.
would think I think you need to hit 20. You need to get to 20.
Well, the reason I think so is because like you might be able to get in, I don't know, like there's going to be four or five teams. They're not going to take, remember last, they're not going to take seven teams from the SEC.
Mm. Yeah,
And
six if you're lucky.
if you're real, like probably five.
Mm.
And there's going to be some teams with more than 20 wins, dude.
Mm.
There's going to be more than five teams with 20 wins. Um, so I think you get left out just because, that picking process, a lot of it's just like, sorry, guys, like you're on the bubble. You're in that 19
Mm.
to 21 win range. We already took five people from your conference. We're
Yeah.
taking somebody from a different, you know what I mean? You just get that. Like you don't want to be the sixth or seventh team in your conference on the bubble.
Yeah. You got some work to do, man.
That is tough. Like when you put it that way, it's like we are in some trouble, dude.
But maybe dude, this could have been the game. If they'd won this game, I'd been like, here we go. Hold my
Turn
beer.
around.
Like I mean it's
Yeah, dude, to go on the road, like I actually going in, I didn't even expect to win. I'm like, going on the road against a solid Missouri team who you already beat, so they have like a vengeance. Like I thought for sure, I mean, and they're the ones that started like really this whole oh, let's play zone. Not they didn't really start it, but like they were the one the first time where it was like
Mhm.
they were playing that zone strong and we were like, oh man, this is going to be problems. And you're up by 10 with 5 minutes to go. Like I thought, and then I was like, oh, this is gonna be a turnaround. Like these guys grew up. They played tough defense. They were resilient. They hit some shots. Like they're on the road. They're gonna beat this team. This is gonna be the way.
Devo just said like I'm gonna be the leader of this team.
Yeah, dude. Could have been, would have been, should have been.
Yeah, dude.
Oh well.
Well, uh, stay tuned for the epic comeback of the Arkansas Razorbacks. Maybe
Yeah,
Ole
dude.
Miss is the team you turn around against. I don't know. You better turn it around. I mean, you got to beat Ole Miss. I don't know if that's your turnaround. You just got to beat them. Uh, and then you got to beat LSU. You got to win those 2 home games, and then we'll see what happens at Baylor. But yeah, if you drop either one of those, I'm already concerned. But like, I'm going to start just saying, guys, I don't know if it's going to happen. You,
We're gonna
you
just
know,
start exclusively doing the girls' games.
Hey, I'll tell you what's going to happen, dude. If that happens, I'll be looking for Nick Smith to come flying in, like putting on a Superman cape, come flying in from LA come February.
We have to win every game in February, dude.
Nick Smith, you better be all that you better be all that they build you as, dude. And you need to come back if that's the case. If we're in that kind of hole come February, dude, um, that's like let's like maybe there's this great story here. Arkansas struggling hard. They're struggling real hard. Nick Smith has been hurt. Oh, is his draft stock plummeting? Who knows? Oh, he's coming back because it's February. His knee's all good. Bam! Arkansas is amazing. Nick Smith is the best player in the country. Let's go. I'd love
Yeah,
to see
dude.
it.
Jimmy Witt. He's gonna go. He's gonna go out there and be Jimmy Witt, or
There
not
you
Jimmy
go.
Witt. From Hoosiers.
Oh, Jimmy Chipwood. Jimmy,
Jimmy Chip.
I
Jimmy
was I
Chipwood.
was I was trying to think of other Razorbacks.
No,
What the
he's gonna go. He's gonna come up and think it's time for me to start playing basketball again.
It'd be good if it was. I don't know. I mean, not because it was obvious tonight. Like we had 4 guys foul out. That wasn't good. And so it would have been nice if Jimmy Witt if Nick Smith was there. That'd have been good. So we'll see. Come on, Nick. Get that knee iced up, get some icy hot, whatever you gotta do, and let's get this thing
Dude,
going.
snap forward 2 months. We're in the Elite Eight. I'm telling you.
That's it. That's what I'm rooting for. That'll be a great that you know what? That'll be a great series of podcasts. If you have the Nick Smith comeback and it's amazing.
That
That'd
really
be
is the worst part. Is these podcasts aren't very fun to listen to, and nobody cares, and they're gonna really start to not care. That's the real tragedy to them losing.
yeah, that's the real tragedy. Well, the thing that's a really big bummer is I know it's like next man up and everything like that, but like basketball is different, dude. It's not like football. There's 11 guys on the field and stuff, and yes, it's next guy up, but do you really think? Do you really think that if Trevon Brazile and Nick Smith were completely healthy and played this whole season, that's our record? Because I don't.
No, no, I think you got at least 2 or 3 more of those games,
Yeah,
and who knows? I mean, and if they play together the whole time and they're starting to gel, I mean, who knows? You
yeah,
know.
yeah. So it's rough. And we talked about this before it happened. It's hard to do. It does mean that you have to adjust your expectations. And boy, oh boy, have my expectations been just really adjusted in a real uncomfortable way.
Yeah,
Like I was at
everybody.
a super violent chiropractor. That's how I feel like my adjustments have gone.
Everybody thinks I'm negative, but
Hey, don't start one. Don't start with that. You're gonna do. Hey, I was
I'm
right.
no, I'm just realistically concerned is what
There you
how I
go.
like to put it.
There you go.
I
Hey,
see that.
I liked a lot of things I saw. Keep starting Kamani. Hey, Devo, I liked all the things you did. Everybody played great defense. Sorry, you guys
I
all
like
fouled out. Like there was a lot of really good things. Uh, let's not have Ricky Council play point guard in the last 5 minutes of a game. Let's not do that. That's my opinion. Like I don't like it, and so just keep it rolling. When you're up 10, it ain't broke. Let's not fix it.
all right, man.
All right. Well, I will see you on Saturday.
All right, dude.
All
We'll see.
right. See ya.
Bye.